the bleachers in the rain. We've shed a million tears and drank as many old-style beers out at the game. Let's go, Cubby, Son Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Mucho Scali.
Son Ranto.
Michael.
Son Ranto.
Cotton.
Son Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto.
Mucho Scali.
Now, Michael Cotton, I was hoping that in honor of the Cubs going overseas that you were going to do the Son Ranto call in an English accent.
You know what? I thought about that, and guess what I can't do?
An
English accent while yelling Son Ranto.
Son Ranto! Yes.
Oh yay, it's the Son Ranto show.
Like, all it is just saying your vowels wrong. Like it Son Ranto or some shit like that.
Well, welcome to the Son Ranto show. I'm Danny Rocket, and that is Infield Fly Girl. Up top I like the V-neck 1984. That's like the classic. That's the Leon Durham. I call that one.
I have a Dawson one, the 87 Dawson. That's the same. I love those.
Yeah, those are great. They should do those more often. And I love the V-neck.
This was the throwback giveaway from Wrigley Field at Cubs gave it to me when I visited Chicago last year.
Oh, nice.
Even better, free.
Yeah, I found mine for $35 at a pawn shop in Colorado.
Perfect.
It was like the Mitchell Ness, like real expensive one, but pawn shop in Colorado, they don't give a shit about Andre Dawson.
Who the hell is this guy? And Michael Cotton up there in the upper right-hand corner. How are you? You got your green Cubs hat on today.
I am. I'm rocking the green one because I was wearing this during the win. And then I have two green Cubs hats. The other one has the 69 bear with red on it.
Nice.
But that one, they lost while I was wearing it. So I changed my hats.
Yeah, I'm wearing today. I got my Respect Bald Joe Madden shirt on. It got a little bleach stain on it right there.
I figured that was mustard.
I wish. No, just good mustard comes out. Bleach stains are forever. But I put this on. I dragged it out of the bottom of my drawer, and made me remember like totally different times. Like totally different teams. Completely Joe Madden days. Sitting next to Wellington Castillo. I got
winning World Series games.
Oh God,
yeah. So. I kind of did the same thing. Today I pulled out this shirt, which is some sort of knockoff, like from Etsy or something that my wife got me. But like all this stuff around here are latitude and longitudinal points of something. I'm not exactly sure, but it's like, but one of them is is Principal Park in Cleveland for, and I think that's where the W
is it all the home runs
right there. No, I don't freaking know. It's weird. It's a weird shirt, and so I like it. But like I said, only one of them do I know is Principal Park. I think it might be like where they won their various, World Series games over the many years.
This from the chat from Terry E. concerning your Dawson 1987 throwback Mitchell and Ness from Terry E. says, coincidentally, Trey Mancini found his glove at a pawn shop in Gary, Indiana. So
I don't think he found his glove there. I think he sells his gloves there.
Yeah, he left it there. The Son Ranto.
I got to pay for my parking ticket. Here's a glove. Give me $16.
The Son Ranto show is brought to you by our 117 Patreon supporters. And also Blake Beard's tickets. You can get the best tickets down the third base line at the Blake Beard on Twitter. Also, Rogue Wave Creative for your branding, graphic, and web design needs. And the Cubs PS Plus podcast, a Northside numbers game. Thank you for sponsoring the Son Ranto Show. And tonight, we will be giving away to one of our fabulous 117 Patreon members a Pedro Strop. Speaking of teams that used to exist, this fabulous Matt Kammerer Pedro Strop poster. Tonight is the night we're giving this away. We'll give it away at the end of the show. So if you want to jump into the Patreon right now, and there are trial memberships available. You know, you can try it for a week, see if you like the Cubs pod, see if you like the chance to win a poster, see if you enjoy that. But you join on. It's $1. Patreon.com/sunrant. You can win this Pedro Stroke. We'll give you all night to join. Hashtag chance in the chat. You can win this Frank Chance postcard sent to you by me. I was with a message of hope and doom. I was a little bit behind on sending out these postcards, and I got a bunch out on Saturday, including some of the Bleacher Bum Band shirts. You know, I got those out in the mail. So everything should be coming.
Yeah, I saw Artie posted. He was wearing his Bleacher Bum Band shirt.
God, reminds me, I need to buy the Bleacher Bum Shalbum so I can get myself a Bleacher Bum Band t-shirt.
Also, Danny, I wanted to point out when we were talking about Patreon, if you are an existing Patreon person, if you get 5 people that will claim that you are the one that got them into the Patreon, you will get a shirt. You just have to let me know, show me that you got those 5 people. It can be an in the clutch shirt or an obvious shirt or
a Mitchell and Ness Andre Dawson 1987 jersey.
Well, no, you can't have that one, but you know, we'll find some sort of shirt. It could be a Son Ranto shirt. We have some cool shirts out there. You know, they're a little bit.
Michael's going to buy a shirt. Just tell people about being on the Patreon, and
you just have to get 5
club.
people to sign up for us. That'd be awesome.
It's like Amway. So Patreon, hashtag chance in the chat right now to win this chance postcard. So the Cubs, they went to London. I think we should start with a poem about the London series. So Michael, if you want to cue that up, maybe in the background, I'll hum God Save the Queen.
Preferably the Sex Pistols.
Okay.
God Save the Queen.
How's that one go? God save the Queen. I have like the Berlin Wall in my head. The Berlin Wall.
I've got, and I know it's Irish, not English, but I've got Sunday, Bloody Sunday in my head because immediately after this game today, I thought Sunday, Cubby Sunday, because that's what we do on Sundays is die.
Sunday, Cubby Sunday. I was thinking that we have what do they call it? The Sunday scaries. You ever hear this? It's like a mental disorder to not enjoy Sunday because you know Monday's coming. So all these people are just like dreading their week so much that they can't even have fun on Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh God, terrible. Can't sleep, can't eat, just sad.
All right, get ready to hum. Here we go.
Okay.
Series 25, Cubs versus Cardinals, 37-39, London series. A mighty crack of the bat. Hap flies the Union Jack. Although in Wrigley Field, it's just the warning track. But just to prove it, Hap went back to back. Old man Wayno represents the dying devil birds. He wanted to go 9, only got 1/3, because he threw nothing but English turds. Sunday, Cubby Sunday. MLB flipped the script. It was the Cardinals' turn to win on this trip. Rossi with his Sunday best, guaranteed to slip. So goes the English series. 1 win, 1 loss to each. Cubs and Cardinals playing across the sea, just like Manfred wanted it, so we can all fly the T.
The T. Yeah, it kind of felt like a tie. It kept feeling like these games weren't going to count.
Yeah, they felt like they weren't going to count. And honestly, the way that this game went today, and I mean, I would call bullshit on this if we hadn't seen David Ross put out some of the shittiest lineups ever on Sundays throughout the year. But
Yeah, I mean, I guess let's talk about the overall impressions that you have. I mean, IFG, you watch a lot of international baseball, and I know that it's not the most popular in England as opposed to like the Far East where you watch a lot of games. But I mean, what was your impression of like kind of the overall festivities of it and how they did?
I thought they did a pretty great job. I'm like the crowd was clearly delighted to be there and everybody seemed to be having a good time. So as far as an entertainment product, I'm glad that they did it. I think, there's a passionate and blooming baseball fandom growing in the UK, and I'm really, really happy that MLB has finally sort of woken up to that and is nurturing it. And I'm glad that the Cubs are part of that. I think this is their second time going to play in London now, and that is right? Like they've played over there before, or no? I know the Yankees did, and
The
then
Yankees and Red Sox did, and then the Cubs played somewhere else. They played in Japan one time, and they
Yeah,
played.
yeah,
they played in Japan. No, the Cubs were supposed to do this in 2020.
Yeah.
And that was
that's
actually
what it was.
the pandemic blocked this thing for 4 years. This is only the second time they've done it.
Right.
Like we forget that. Like it feels like because the first one was so long ago, they should have done a bunch of these by now.
Yeah, I mean, it did feel like they were more excited than we were. Like, because like for us,
Sure.
it's just like, damn, the game's at 9, and for them, it really is like a bit of more of a novelty act, and they just don't get Major League Baseball over there. And it was cool to hear it from like the Bat Flips and Nerds podcast guys. Like they were just psyched. And then I saw pictures of them all drinking at some pub today, and just all the different uniforms. Like there's a guy's in an A's uniform and somebody else in the Cardinals uniform and a Giants and Dodgers. And so many of the teams were represented, and they all had like one fan in London,
Yeah.
and they're all hanging out together, just enjoying a ball game. And I mean, that's so cool. We talk about the sense of community that we have, even for the Sun Ranto show and on Twitter and, all the socials that we participate in. And it's like, when you see it over there, bringing people together too, it's just, that's what I love about it,
Yeah, those of us who, follow this sport religiously over here in America, and those of us that live close enough to a ballpark that we can go to games often and we can watch them on TV anytime we want to because they're on at convenient times of the day for us. Like, you have to hand it to MLB fans, in other countries, the ones that live in rural areas here in the United States, the ones who live in like huge blackout areas where like the team that they want to watch isn't available on TV very often. I know you, Cotton, are in that situation yourself. And the people who really do go out of their way to interact with this sport that we love and that they love, they're not taking it for granted quite as much as we are that our team is going to be there within a stone's throw 80 games a season. So, a couple games, one weekend, the hottest day of the year in London, people are going out to sit in the ballpark and cheer on whatever team is there today. Maybe it's their favorite team, maybe it's not, but a bunch of people went there. They bought jerseys. They were happy about it. They bought a meter-long thing of nachos, which I want those. Take notes, T-Mobile Park. I would buy that.
I was wondering about that meter long nachos. Now it's a meter, but like it could be a shallow dish that's a meter. Like maybe you get
it's
the
like
same
a shallow dish. It's about the length of a baseball bat.
My thing is, regardless, I mean, it worked at that stadium because there were 3 seats before another person, but I don't want to sit next to you and have to hold your damn nachos while you eat. Like, I don't even know you.
You're like,
why am I holding your nachos for you?
It's so awkward.
Sure, but like me and the person I came with both get to have, and we don't have to like pass the helmet nachos back and forth or, whatever. You've got 2 or 3 kids with you. Like, here, just take the damn chips.
Oh my God, 3 kids just stuck under these nachos. It's like
Boom.
eating at a trough.
Well, it's better than having to pass the nacho helmet back and forth, which is probably the same amount of nachos, like technically just spread out. Or it's kind of like when you order the cup of soup or the bowl of soup, and it's really the same amount of soup. Just looks different. Or when you order a beer bat full of beer, or you order a regular beer and it's the same amount of beer. It just costs you double.
Yeah, exactly. No, I did want to talk about the field a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought so I really enjoyed these games. I will say. I enjoyed what was going on in the stands, like some of the different things. The fact that they were selling donuts out there was kind of cool. But the field itself, I know this is only the second one, right? But they're getting 50,000 people each game. They got over 100,000 people in these two games. And so they know people are going to come to this and do this. I think the next time they do it, or they need to make plans soon to make a real baseball field over there. Do it somehow so that, the Great Britain team can use it or whatever. I don't know. But the field was fun, sort of, because watching the ball just bounce and bounce and bounce, like it was like a Texas leaguer over the first baseman, and like Seiya Suzuki is like running his hardest because the ball is not landing and rolling. It is bouncing, and he's got to go chase that thing down.
It reminded me of the old Super Turf over at the Metrodome in Minnesota when they used to play up there, and they used to pride themselves on how it bounced. They whoever would be their third baseman would like bounce that thing like one bounce. He would never throw it out of fly. He would bounce it to the guy, like right off the pitcher's mound, like boom. They all knew how to do it. They would use the bounce, throw it for the outfield. That thing was crazy, and a lot of guys blew out their knees on that stuff, and But
this stuff is a lot better than that old stuff was, but still it was kind of interesting. And a lot of the balls, the guys kind of having trouble seeing the ball against the white rooftop.
And it hit off of it, and it was out of play when it hit it. It was not foul.
Saved Nico. That would have been an out. Nico Horner would have been done because that wasn't going anywhere, right? But because it hit the net,
it hit the rafter.
Yeah.
And I guess that
it was like the trop or something where that became a ground rule double or something.
Yeah, well, in this one I think it was just a
ball in play.
Or well, I guess this
was out. They technically made it out of play because
out of play
caught the ball, but because it had already hit something up there.
Yeah, the umpire was like, nah, it doesn't count. Yeah. So
and
it was like interference.
So there were just little things like that I felt like they just need to, and this is only the second one and it's the first one after a 4-year hiatus or whatever. So I'm not real picky about it, but I would like to see them have like a real ballpark to play in the next time they go. So
and something that's fully wired up for our technology, right? Like I know you were mentioning before that some of the details are a little bit left to be desired.
Oh yeah, the homer did. Yeah, we have no information. Yeah. Like Hap hit 2 home runs in the first game. Dansby hit a home run, and we have no details on how far it actually went.
So we were talking about this before we got on the show. So for everybody else, and I'm sure anybody who's even just watched the highlights, you've seen Ian Happ went back to back. He went in the second and third inning. His first 2 at bats in England were home runs. That first home run, though, was like 395 feet. It was a warning track out everywhere. That's not a home run but that's the thing. It's like we always have those stats. How many ballparks would this be a home run in? All this stuff. StatCast shows us everything. And when I'm looking through the summary today, IFG, you got this, right? And this comes off of StatCast?
Yeah, this was off of the StatCast website. So like in the 7th plate appearance of the game, we know, that it was a home run. We know he hit it 104.6 miles an hour. We have no earthly idea how far it went.
It's supposed to be right here, I think. That's where that's the column.
Go.
That's the column, and it's just empty. And when you look through the summary, you see he hit a double 98 miles per hour. It went 212 feet. Wait a second. You're telling me how far a double went, but you don't know how far a home run went?
Maybe they're still doing the conversions from metric. Just we got to wait on that.
I loved when listening to Pat and Ron when they would do the metric numbers, and they're like, "That's 160 kilometers," like because kilometers per hour
Let,
looks
let
really
me
fast.
let me share one of my TFCs right now because it does involve that idea. So how I do the weather reports when I walk around Wrigley Fields, and so I happened to look down, and for whatever reason I was like, hey Siri, what's the weather in London? And it was like, it's 28 degrees Celsius or something like that. I was like, oh, I'm gonna make the joke that it's so cold there, and I can't believe they're gonna play baseball. It's so cold. But what this cracked me up because like so many people on that thread said to me, like,
well, actually,
yeah, I know it was so funny. So I'm like London freezing like Chicago in January, brr. And I was like, it's 27 down to 19 degrees by Sunday. And
Fair weather.
Arnold Lane says, tell me you're unfamiliar with the Celsius centigrade scale without just saying so. First of all, that's not.
You don't even know whether it's Celsius or centigrade.
Yeah. Neither do I, by the way, and nor do I care.
He got carpal tunnel just writing Celsius and centigrade at the same time.
But it was hilarious because then my neighbor Don, I was like laughing to myself. He's like, what's so funny? And I'm like, and I'm like, oh, these people are thinking I don't know what Celsius or they don't get my joke. He's like, well, tell them that you get it. You don't want them to let them think you're an idiot. I'm like, it's funnier when they do.
Hoping they do.
Yeah, I'm like,
hey, Facebook user, who cares how far it went? I care how far it went. I want to know whether or not Dansby Swanson's home run went further than Aaron Judge's home run in the UK. This is baseball. We care about that shit.
Well, I honestly, I don't really care how far it goes in general, but I don't know. There's something about a 395-foot dead center home run that makes you go, well, that seems a little bit off. That's all I'm talking about. Like, and the fact that they are hiding those numbers. It's more about, what is it? It's never the crime, it's the cover up. Right.
Yeah.
It's if they just put it's 395 feet and let us talk about it, fine. But when they actively eliminate that information, it makes you wonder what they're doing and why. Like, it's just stupid.
Yeah, the thing I do agree about is that to give people a more legitimate baseball experience, like kind of like what they did for Field of Dreams games, build a proper baseball stadium there, even if it's, part of like a different kind of grounds or something like that because this was an Olympic stadium. They're supposed to play soccer, and it was so hot there because 29 is actually quite warm. And there's no air. It was built so that it did not have a breeze. So because they didn't want to disrupt the soccer game, but they're playing that at a different time of year, not in the middle of summer where, you're just going to bake in there. So it reminded me of like when Bill Suggis almost got killed in Milwaukee, because also the geniuses in Milwaukee also have no breeze going on in that ballpark. When they're like, they refuse it. They close the roof because it's hot, but there is absolutely no circulation. They have fans that they turn around, just blows hot, stinky cheese whiz air around the ballpark. But, so, it went pretty well. I was really hoping for the sweep. I kind of knew we were going to split, but I love the fact that we beat the hell out of Wainwright. He looked like crap. He was leaving balls all over the plate. They were smacking him. They scored 9 total runs. 7 of them were off of Wainwright. And and I'm like, man, the Cardinals just look like crap. Like they looked sloppy. A team that was super defense last year. They're not necessarily committing a lot of errors, but they're making a lot of dumb mistakes in the field, and we kind of saw that.
Well, they committed some errors in these 2 games.
Yeah, they did, but more like just like didn't a pitcher throw a ball away, and then like they kind of did somebody throw to the wrong base, or I forget. Arenado chucked one away. A lot of balls getting by, infielders. It just didn't look tight to me.
And it is a little bit tougher on that field because obviously
It's a soccer
a
pitch and it's bouncy as hell.
yeah, a sharply hit ball on that bouncy stuff is gonna, shoot through a little bit quicker. So I do feel a little bit bad for him. It did feel tighter. I don't know, and maybe that's just how it looked on TV, but when you were watching the game, did it feel like the bases were maybe only 80 feet? Like the field just seemed small, and maybe it's just because the outfield was small, but the infield, like, and again, that could just be how the cameras work there and how they do the production value, but it felt small to me.
I don't have the numbers on me right now, but I did read somewhere that they moved home plate back like 15 feet or something and that's sort of to make up for how bouncy the field was, and because the last London series was so high scoring, it was like 13-17 or something like that.
Yeah.
So the dimensions of the field were altered slightly from what we would have normally standard here.
Right. Well, and it was bigger. I think that's what you're saying from the New York Boston series, because that was like 21-27 or some shit like that.
I don't think it was that bad, but like it was high scoring.
It was bad.
And I feel like we would have won today. This is kind of funny. My friend Tom Warman, and he's a super ranter. He's on the Patreon, but he went to the game with his wife, and he had really, really good seats. So good that he was right by Jed and Carter. And he captioned this picture of Jed and of Carter talking to Jed, and Carter's leaning over. And this is from a text that Tom sent me in the middle of the game today, of Carter saying, "We got to cut Mancini."
Yeah.
And it's been bad. And this is really turning out to be a bad signing. The defense looks really rotten. The bat hasn't been there. I mean, you got him for 2 years. It's like the position player version of Tyone so far, and it's just like, except Tyone's 4 years.
To me, this game really felt less like the Cardinals won and more like the Cubs lost.
Absolutely, because you put up 4 in the first inning. You're kind of like, yeah, we're gonna rout him again, and then like 3 runs on. I mean, Mancini knocked in 2 and gave up 3 for that dumb error.
Well, and that was the thing. I mean, that Mancini play. That was the play of the game. That's what ruined the entire game. So if people didn't quite see it, it was a ball to the right side. Mancini, for some reason, thought he might go over and get it, but he shouldn't have even gone for it. And then he ran towards first to take the throw from Nico. But Strop was – God damn, why do I do that? Stroman already going over there. And – so Mancini just got in the way, and they didn't get the out, and they scored a run. And then after that, they scored 3 runs. All of that for a while, at least, it was on Stroman, and that wasn't his fault. Like, they should have been out of the inning. That was the 3rd out. And then after that, they scored.
They called it an error eventually, but
eventually, it was like 9th inning. I could not believe they didn't call that an error.
We've seen that a lot lately. It's like they're being too kind to these guys by not wanting to give them an error. Oh, it was too hard. It's like the participation trophy of doling out errors. It feels like they just won't do it anymore because they don't want to make the guy feel bad, or
And I can kind of understand, like, maybe the idea that he couldn't get to it, and that's what they were looking at. But once Nico gets the ball and throws to first, that's
you gotta catch it. Yeah,
that's an out if he doesn't drop it, or if he just gets out of the way for Stroman.
Yeah, and then and Stroh wasn't great today, but it was kind of sad. He left with a blister on his finger, and so hopefully that's not going to make him miss a start.
Pulled down a pretty nifty double play, though.
Yeah, but it's just it was sad to see him leave the game in that state at that point, and you saw Kyle Hendricks dealing with some blister stuff last year, and he was out for a while. Like, he kind of got bothered by that for a bit, so I'm hoping it's not too bad. In the other game, Steele looked great again, coming off the IL for a second start, and he had 8 strikeouts through 6 innings pitched, and only gave up 1 run, so that was great. Morel, it was his birthday, he had a 3-hit game, so it's like as frustrating as today was, because the Cubs are now 2-11 on Sundays with the Sunday
Yeah.
scaries, and it's just uncanny. I know the weird stuff happens in baseball where you'll have these things that you point out the pattern, but getaway days, which is oftentimes in a Sunday, to not get those games does feel like there's a certain sort of like not being able to like finish, like not step on, like you could have stepped on a neck with St.
Yep.
Louis, made them feel so bad. They fly all the way across the ocean just to continue their shitty season. And then they got to fly all the way back and face whoever they're facing next and just feel terrible about themselves. But instead, they're on the plane after a victory being like, hey, we weren't so bad. We beat the best pitcher in the National League today. He's not that good. Like they're feeling better about themselves. And the Cubs are just not taking that opportunity to just step on the neck, grind them into the ground, and they're not doing it. And it's sad.
Well, in a lot, I mean, again, with this game, it was really bad because of Mancini. But that first base, so Bellinger was sick. Is that what I'm supposed to?
Yeah, but then he went out there anyway, and
he was out there yesterday, and they did pull him early. But yeah, if he could play, he still looked better than Mancini, and that's something that I wanted to,
Well, it was the righty thing, because Ross had used his entire lineup except for Rios, who was the 27th man, and Mastroboni by like the 5th inning. They had used everybody today, and because Ross was like, "Oh, I got to play the matchup. Here's what my book say." What did Carter's lackey tell me to do? And
that's why it felt like this was, a Manfred special. Like Cubs won yesterday. Let's let the Cardinals win.
Well,
today.
and like what IFG also said, like the Cubs beat themselves today. Like we won
because you didn't have your best team out there.
Yep.
Not for the whole game.
Yeah, but. Well, and then once Bellinger came out there, they kind of settled back down on defense. Like look, I want Mash Mervis to be the guy, but watching him play first and then also watching Mancini play first, up to this point, even Hosmer, for this whole season, I'm like, oh, it's just that's first base and whatever and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, Bellinger comes out there and you're like, oh my God.
Competence.
Bellinger actually knows how to play this position. None of those other guys were really doing it.
Yeah. And I know we're a little bit spoiled on first baseman, having had Anthony Rizzo for so long. But yeah, it is really nice to, see somebody who knows what they're doing there.
The footwork, it's alone. It just is where you really notice it, because they're like, they're not sure how to get your foot across to the base to take the ball, and it just looks all discombobulated. Did you guys hear that Morel, just to add another position to Morel's, Jack
something else, some other job they cannot give him?
Yeah, well, they had him taking, I don't know how serious it was, a few reps at first base, and I was like, oh my God, you just want to ruin this man, don't you?
It's like he's got a great arm, and they've been putting him at second base, and they're like, how can we further misuse that kid's arm?
Let's have him at first. Let's have him not ever throw. We don't even know if Rizzo has a good arm, for example. We have no idea, because he never threw ever, except for, every now and again.
Well, no, he pitched one time.
Yeah, that's true. And he was the greatest pitcher of all time. So, what else about this series? Oh, yeah, I wanted to bring this up. I don't know if they're going to stick around, but obviously they will be out there in some form. This is a very great picture of it. It's kind of blown up. But there's Christopher Morel on his birthday wearing a new arm sleeve patch. Advocate Healthcare. It looks like it's coming. I mean, other teams have already been doing it. You knew it was coming, but I don't know
Cubs
if it's going to stay.
One of the only teams that hadn't done this so far.
Yeah. So
I'm not super mad about it. I'm a little bit nicer about the ad patches than other people. They're very common in all of the Asian leagues. They're common in Leadom. Hell, in Leadom, they have ads on the pants.
Yeah.
Call me when we start ass ads, but
ass ads is the smartest thing, because like baseball butts is like why half the people are watching.
Look, we are staring at that picture anyway. You might as well sell something.
Exactly.
Oh, and you get a guy like Stroman, who, I mean, he got some tight stuff going on. You could put the ad on his underwear and you'd read it through his pants.
Craig Kimbrell, when he does that whole bend over thing with his arm over, like,
you could get 3 extra ads just from what you'd see when he bends over.
You got one on the back of his arm when his arm's up like an old record player, and then 2 on his butt cheeks because he's all bending over, giving the ad to you. M&M's, and then he does a cartwheel. It says, "Wow."
Yep.
Extra money.
So,
Nice.
yeah, I'm not as mad about this as I could be.
I'm
The
beaten
Advocate
down.
Healthcare, we've got, the Cubs have a really long relationship with Advocate Healthcare, so that's fine. I was kind of hoping if they were going to put an ad on the Cubs uniform that it would be something like really fun in Chicago. Like, give me a Malort patch. That would be hilarious.
Old style.
But old style. My gosh, the Cubs with an old style patch. Cubs, if you ever do ads on the hats, give me an old style patch on the hat. That would sell like hotcakes. I would buy one. I would buy 4.
It felt like to me that they put this on there for the London series because they could kind of get away with adding some patches and whatever because it's like a special series. They had the Capital One on the helmet that will not be there. They don't do that. But I think it was almost like a trial and nobody said a word because honestly, it's the first time that any of us have seen it, and we've seen so many other teams with it.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to really give a shit.
We're all beaten down by it.
I'll just cut it off any jersey. If I ever get another jersey, I'll just cut that off.
Yeah, that's
just
my
not
thing is
something that I'll
I
have.
would never buy a jersey that had it on it. They are trying to sell some. Corey Furlong says I would buy a new jersey for the old style patch itself. Yeah, totally. They are trying to market this London series. This I don't really understand. This T-shirt that they're selling.
Either.
I really don't understand. It's a hot dog, and is he supposed to be like one of the English guards? Like that protect the Queen with the big black furry hat on.
He
It
needs
reminds-
the big hat instead of the baseball hat. But yeah,
It's
I think
cute.
it is.
It's cute.
I
It's a
don't know. It reminds me of like the concessions ads at the intermission at the
Let's all
drive-in movie theater. Yeah.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to
definitely.
the lobby. Well, I'm dropping some links to the chat in this in case you ever wanted any of this stuff. It's kind of cute, the hot dog guy, and then now I kind of enjoy people liked this one. Artie Boucher said he liked this one, that this was the kind of hat that he would buy to commemorate this series. It just like it's got the London Bridge and then St. Louis versus Cubs. It's one of those 340 style or 940 styles. And then it's got the British and American flags on the side. What's your guys' opinions on this hat?
It's fine. It's not my favorite, but this is a pretty like I get what he's saying. Like if you're gonna go and you're just gonna grab one that like actually shows some London stuff on it, yeah, I would get that hat.
Now
It's a good collectible keepsake hat. I probably wouldn't wear it.
Yeah, it's not like your everyday wearer, but if you want to have it on your wall to show that you went to it, that's a pretty good one to get.
And I want people's opinions in the chat on some of this stuff too. So like, deal breaker. Terry E says the deal breaker is this STL logo. I agree with that. Now this one kind of is interesting. This is kind of like that.
Sold. I would wear that.
Yeah, it just got
Really, I'm the opposite. I hate this hat. This hat looks like a truck stop hat because there's no red on it. It's just all white. And I know that that's like the crown jewels, but I also don't know that that's the crown jewels. It just looks like something.
What do you like about it, IFG?
I like it because it has a crown on it. I want to wear a crown. I want a little Cubs tiara.
That's awesome. It's so funny that I'm just like, I don't even know what that is. You're like, I want to wear a crown.
I agree.
No, I get it.
I like this one too.
I'm a pretty princess and I want to wear a baseball crown.
I kind of wish it was the crown was a little bigger. In fact, like I think it would be funny to have a baseball hat that was just a picture of a crown. You know what I mean? Like, I guess then you'd be the Monarchs. But just like
You
a
want
hat of a crown, a
Just
hat of a hat.
This crown all blown up with the Cubs C on the band of it.
why weren't they selling like the Burger King crowns with like the cardboard Burger King ones that they used to give to the little kids? You could give those out
dude.
at the London series. Like people would be wearing them all over the place.
Yeah, I do like this one. I think I would. Well, I'm not gonna buy it, but if I see this one on special, I might get it.
Right.
It's just
I like I say, it's for me, it's a little too generic. I don't like this one.
and
as
this
much.
is the last one, and this one is just a mistake. I think, in my opinion.
See, and this is where we're going to disagree. This is the only one I really like.
It's
This
a
is the only
Union
one I would
Jack.
actually wear all
For the
time.
podcast listeners, it's a Union Jack inside a C, but the C is gold, and I think that's the problem. Is the gold takes away from the fact that it's the Union Jack, and you can't really tell at first glance that it's a Union Jack inside the Cubs C.
I would
It
actually
should be red.
I would
think-
totally agree with you on that, but this is the one that I would wear the most if I had it.
So I find it aesthetically pleasing, but as a matter of principle, shiny gold on a baseball cap is for World Series winners, and we did not win the World Series last year.
Not yet.
We didn't even win the London series.
Last year.
Yeah, we didn't even win the London. And then the
So
last.
you wear gold if you won the World Series the year before. We did not win the World Series the year before. Our cap should not have gold on it. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. And then the last one I want to show is this dumb poster that's $69.99.
Yeah,
Nice.
But look at this, like it's MLB World Tour poster. It's like a commemorative poster, and it's almost sold out. Which I don't know, maybe they only had one in the first place. But they have two nondescript Cubs and Cardinals players on the front of the poster. With like Big Ben like to the side, and I'm like, who would buy this? Like, there's not even a Cubs player on it, but that's.
It's like they wanted to, like, they designed this before they knew who was going to be on the team at the time.
Yeah.
It
On
looks
the
like they can
upside,
interchange it.
The
They can
Cubs
just
player is totally safe.
Oh yeah, he's totally safe. I agree with you. No, but they can reuse this for every London series. All they have to do is change the colors.
Yep.
That's probably the idea. And then they'll just like change the little logos up in the right hand corner and just like, okay, set it and forget it. We already paid that intern. Well, probably didn't even pay him to even make this poster, and they'll just sell it in perpetuity.
Speaking of your Celsius, actuallys, I can't remember where I put it, but I saw this and I posted that, like, what are they thinking? Stroman only has 1 0 on his back, and he doesn't hit. Like, obvious joke.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got a few like people like telling me like
he's actually a single zero.
oh, this isn't a blah, blah, blah. It's like, I know. That's the point.
We don't have to talk too much about the Pirates series, but I will mention that we swept them. 48-14, we've outscored them this year. We've outswept the season series so far, 6-0. We shut them out twice, and then beat them 8-4. Smiley was in one. Stroh pitched a 7-inning game. It was much better in the series in Pittsburgh. Hendo looked pretty good again. Once again, there was, by the way, I noticed this today when I was looking at these games. Hendo gave up 1 earned run, but 3 total runs. And guess how those runs scored? Mancini error.
Mancini.
Yeah. So as I was just like, oh, twice in this week. Like, this is just going down the tubes here.
Yeah, Tyone was the only one that had a bad, a not good outing.
Well, Tyone didn't pitch.
Oh,
You
I thought
mean
he lost.
Smiley. We only lost today.
I'm all the way back. I was
Yeah.
doing rakes and flakes earlier, and I'm all the way back in the Baltimore series.
Yeah, no, we're just talking about Pirates and Cardinals
Right.
tonight for the most part. But like, Smiley gave up 5 walks, and that was like the worst pitching outing. But I wrote this down, is that Cubs starting pitching this week only gave up 5 total runs.
Yeah.
Earned runs.
Earned runs, right?
Yeah. So that wasn't bad. Pirates are not scary. But do you want to give me a Pirates poem? Do you have one of those?
Sure. Yeah, and I was going to say like so the Cubs went what 6-0 against the Pirates and then 2-1 against the Orioles and then 1-1 with the that's 11 out of the last 13 or is it 10 out of 12? Whatever. They're on a run.
Yeah.
Like a run that I did not expect to see this year at all. So
They're hanging around 2 games under 5. They could have gotten back to 500 today, and they missed that opportunity. You know.
yeah, and this is in this poem is about as good as the Cubs. So at the confluence, 3 rivers collide. Cubs blank, Pirates 3 dubs 5. 20-3 differential. Pirates played like shit. It's a quick descent for that sinking ship.
That's pretty of the moment concept right now with that whole Titanic thing that happened. Just we'll have to get in our sub water. What do they call those things? The craft that goes down.
Danny, I was going to leave that to everybody else, but I'm glad you pointed it out.
Well, we could visit the pirates on the bottom of their sunken ship.
What's fucked up is that anybody else who goes down to the Titanic now is going to have to like see this other piece of garbage sitting next to it.
No, they blew up.
No, they imploded. It just crumpled together and then fell to the bottom. So it's right there.
Oh, learn something new every Cubs podcast, don't you?
The opposite of what would happen in an airplane, where like the airplane would be like, "Oh wow, we suddenly have way too much we suddenly have lost cabin pressure." It's like, "Oh no, we suddenly have lots of cabin pressure that we did not ask for."
What's amazing is that I learned this from watching James Cameron. Apparently, he's really big into this Titanic stuff. I mean, I knew he made the movie, but like that was like 20 some years ago, but he's still really big into it. And I guess he kind of knew all about all of this stuff. And so people were talking to him and he was just like, yeah, people had been like writing them, telling them, don't do this. Like, so the reason I know that there's a sub next to the Titanic now is because of James Cameron.
Can I?
He's going to do a sequel, and it's going to be amazing.
As long as we're on this, I actually have a great uncle who was on the Titanic, and there he is, Thomas Jubilee Mazes. He was a survivor, and he was a fireman on the ship, and and a lot of the firemen survived because they were actually seamen, and they knew what they were doing, and they knew how to kind of survive it. So they were one of the few, like they survived in mass. And anyway,
nice. That's interesting.
Family,
most of the crew didn't survive, so that's really unique.
Yeah, and so, but I always have a fantasy that he was like, women and children, screw that. He like takes some lady's like babushka and puts it on his head. Hello, can I please get on the lifeboat?
I promise I'm very wealthy.
Yeah, he like takes somebody's kid, he pushes them in the water.
He's wielding that fireman's axe, like, get the fuck away from the boat, man. I am gonna whack you.
I also didn't know this, that a lot of the first they were trying to get the boats to launch as fast as possible on the one side of the ship that was listing first, and they couldn't get enough people on those boats. So a lot of the first rescue boats went off without that weren't full.
Yeah.
That's the one that I bet my uncle was on. He's like, screw this.
I'm hopping on myself. Nobody else getting on.
See, and this is the problem with naming a team after the Pirates. Out of fucking nowhere, we end up talking about the Titanic and like people dying and getting on the thing. I mean, it's the same. I don't know what you should call your team, but I'm sure there's a Pirates podcast out there talking about how Cocaine Bear mauled their their aunt and uncle somewhere, you know?
I doubt it. I think we're the only ones that do stupid shit. Um,
This
but-
is sort of off topic, but I heard something interesting that's somewhat peripherally related to what we're talking about. Codify, if you don't follow him on Twitter, he helps out a lot of pitchers and like learning where to throw baseballs at specific hitters. And he likes to throw a lot of like random baseball facts out there. And this was something that he threw out yesterday, the day before, something like that. And it says the last 40 home run player for each team and what year they played in. So like in 2022, they had 40 home run hitters on the Angels and the Mets and the Yankees and the Phillies. The last one for the Cubs was in 2005. Everybody remember who that was? Hit 40 some odd home runs. I believe
I'm
it was
assuming it's Sammy
46
Sosa.
home runs.
It was Sammy,
What's that?
right?
Yeah,
That was
Sammy
Derek
Sosa.
Lee
Oh, Lee.
in
Oh, really?
2005. Do you know when the last player to hit 40 home runs on the Pittsburgh Pirates was?
Oh shit.
With Roberto Clemente. It's 1973.
Oh
bet
my
you that
god,
was-
is it Clemente?
No, I don't think he died before that. It must have been like Willie Stargell, or who would it have been?
No, Clemente, he didn't die before 73, did he?
I think he did. I think he was dead before I was born.
Maybe yes.
You know who it is, IFG?
I like the name just escaped my head, so I'm double checking. It
Right, because we
is-
start throwing out other names.
Clemente died in 19.
yeah, it was Willie
72.
Stargell.
Stargell, yeah. So
Oh,
All right.
you know, that's funny because
Honus Wagner.
IFG, I don't want to like,
Yep.
you know, but you said Stargell, right?
Oh yeah, I do that every time. I swear I'm an idiot.
No, but getting back to the London series, they were doing that on that. I was listening to the Bat Flips and Nerds, and it was Bellinger, I think is what they
Bellinger.
called Bellinger.
Oh god, they said Alzali like 4 different ways throughout the course of
Oh,
the
and those are
game.
Americans doing that. They said Alzali.
Yeah, Alzoli.
Alzoli.
Alzoli. Alzoli's pizzas.
It's like, remember when like Rod Santo thought Antonio Alfonseca's name was Al Fonseca?
Yes.
He's like, let me talk to you, Al. He's like, come on over here, Al. Let me ask you something about your changeup. Well, why don't we do some rakes, flakes, throws, and blows, and then we'll take it to a commercial break, and then we'll come back, and we've got a lot more for you tonight. The Rickett says we're buyers, so we're going to talk about that. So, but let's do some rakes, flakes, throws,
All
and
right.
blows.
We're
first.
going to run through these as fast as humanly possible.
Today I'm going to show you how to rake.
How do you rake?
All right. So apparently June is the good Ian Happ month. Over the last 2 weeks, Happ has 4 singles, 3 doubles, 2 triples, 3 homers, 14 RBI, and 7 walks for a 1021 OPS. The only downside to that is that he has struck out 14 times, and that leads the team over that time span. So that's not good. And so Happ was good in April, right? If I'm remembering, and then he's bad in May. Now he's good in June. So that means bad in July, good in August, and bad down the stretch when we need him.
Yeah, but in October in the playoffs, he'll be freaking nailed.
If we could just get there, if everybody else can hold him up,
Yeah,
he'll be great in October. He'll be like
Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson in October. Yes.
All right. How about flakes?
I haven't worried about flakes since my grunge days. Remember them?
Unfortunately, the flaker is going to be Seiya. Over the last 2 weeks, he's only hitting 174. He's got 6 singles and 2 doubles to go with 4 walks. His OPS is 448 because he's got no slugging. His slugging is 217. So that's not good, but at least he does have 7 RBI on his 8 hits. So at least he's doing something when he's getting his shots. So, you know, it could definitely be worse, but yeah, poor Seiya, not hitting it well right now.
Yeah, you said that today on when we were doing the game watch, the game hang, that IFG, you were like, you know, I really just wish this was going better.
Yeah, He is not the Seiya that I remember from NPB, and I don't know whether that is a mental game thing or a adjustment to the league thing. I'm not sure what's going on, but it just, I don't know. I just wish it were going better for him.
Yeah, 3 more years too. I mean, because it's pretty important position, right field, big power spot. Corner outfielder. The defense. It's been pretty there, but we're kind of used to Gold Glove over there too.
Mhm.
We're used to the exact same batting, but with Gold Glove defense.
Yeah. And meanwhile, we're paying that guy to play for the Dodgers.
Yep,
And he's still on the team.
and we're paying him more than we're paying Seiya to play for this team.
Yeah.
So-
How is Hayward doing? We should do it there. Where are they now? He's got a 116 OPS plus, people.
Oh my God.
Is he worth 0.18? He's worth 0.8 WAR right now.
I know that's better. I'm not looking, but I know that's better than Seiya.
He has 8 home runs in 2023. He had 8 so far. He's had 8 home runs in 2021 altogether for the whole year.
Does
Anyway,
this mean Hap is going to disappear like a submersible in the North Atlantic come July?
yes, it does.
Well, Hap isn't home yet. He may disappear in the North Atlantic just coming home.
So, are we on throws yet?
Yeah, we are.
All right.
My hands to the Lord.
Blech. Those children seem sad.
Yeah,
Just-
they are.
All right. So throws. Throws, honestly, this week is between the two pitchers we saw this weekend. It's Steele and Stroman. Both are doing very well. I mean, obviously, Stroman is one of the top pitchers in the entire league right now. But I'm going to give it to Steele because he's coming off of that injury. And honestly, he didn't look good going in. I was a little worried when he came out. And then I was at that game that he was pitching against the Orioles. I felt like they overused him a little bit there. But then he came back out and threw 89 pitches on Saturday and he looked a little shaky that last inning, right? But got through it. And I don't know, he's probably the biggest surprise for me all season is how good Justin Steele is right now.
I mean, he finished last year this way too. So, I mean, I think to be able to say that we can count on him being a solid part of this rotation feels pretty good.
But we thought Wisniewski was going to be amazing, and we thought Killian was going to be amazing, and we thought all these guys. Steele's the only one really saying, hey, I'm the guy, and he gets out there every single time and just rips it. And he's only throwing. I think he throws 3 pitches, but he basically only throws 2 pitches. But if you throw it the right way, you're good.
So who's your blower?
You just put your lips together and blow.
Yeah, I guess this goes to Jameson Tyone. He honestly hasn't been that bad. He had a good game against the Pirates, but he had a not so good game against the Orioles. And that was really it. He has a 5.56 ERA over those 11.1 innings in those 2 outings. And honestly, he has very, very similar numbers to Smiley over the same time frame, but basically Smiley was able to dance out of the fire for like 1 more inning. That's like the difference in, the 1.5 ERA difference for
the 5
2.
walks was concerning with Smiley. That's what we hadn't seen that kind of control problem from him before.
It definitely was concerning, but again, he danced out of that fire, whereas Tyone just, he has it or he doesn't have it, and
he has mostly not had it.
He has mostly not had it. He's actually he's the blower, and this might be the best stretch that he's had all year.
So let's take it to commercial real quick. We're going to play a commercial for our Patreon. And please join us at patreon.com/sunranto and be a part of the festivities. Be a part of supporting this show. And it's the only way we survive is with you as our supporter. So join us, and you could have a chance to win tonight this Pedro Stroman, as Michael Cotton would say, poster. I will send this to you. It's made by a wonderful artist, Matt Kammerer. And also, we are brought to you by InTheClutch.com and their t-shirts, promo code SunRanto for 10% off. And you will also be winning, as a Patreon supporter, a In the Clutch shirt of your choice. If you that is an added bonus for our Patreon prize of the month. But please join us, and here's a commercial for it. We'll be right back. All over Chicagoland, there are thirsty, frazzled, overworked Cubs podcasters who are struggling to survive one more baseball season in the dog-eat-dog world of unpaid content creation. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can make a difference. Become a super ranter at patreon.com/sunranto, where your support ensures that poor, sad, pathetic, ugly, loser Cubs podcasters can pay for tickets and beer, and in turn line the pockets of the baseball oligarch Ricketts family. Just $1 a month can buy a scorecard. $5 a month can pay for guitar strings to write a Cubs song. And $10 a month almost buys one beer at Wrigley Field. Cubs content creators are the lowest pieces of pond scum garbage that slither over the face of this planet. But super ranters help them get drunk and screw off at baseball games. What do you get out of it? The Sun Ranto Show delivered to your podcatcher without stupid advertisements like the one you're seeing and hearing right now. Plus, at other Super Ranter levels, you can get Cubs music, access to private Sun Ranto pages, the Ranter calendar, and special thanks and Ranter recognition in our live broadcasts. Plus, eligibility for monthly prizes. What does Sun Ranto get out of it? Your money. For tickets and beer. Go to patreon.com/sunranto. That's patreon.com/sunranto. And become a super ranter today. If you like the Cubs a bunch, buy your t-shirts from In the Clutch. We've got all the best styles for you. Dansby, Saya, Morel too. Clark Fly in his W. Cody Bellinger smoking dupes. Vintage shirts from days of old. Patrick Wisdom and Nico. You'll look sharp wearing your strobe. 10% off with the code SONRANTO. SONRANTO. InTheClutch.com is your store for the most fun baseball shirts on the planet. Don't forget to use promo code SUNRANTO to knock a couple bucks off your purchase. Stack or die, we need more cups. Get it all at In the Clutch. Cause if you like the Cubs a bunch, buy t-shirts from In the Clutch. Get it all at In the Clutch. Get it all at In the Clutch. And we are back. Please shop at InTheClutch.com and use promo code SUNRANTO for 10% off. Lots of great shirts and styles there. But we're going to be giving away one of those shirts later on tonight to one of our Patreon people. Please join us. So speaking of being buyers of shirts anyway, how about the Cubs being buyers? Ricketts out in front on the Marquee Network talking up the team, saying we're obviously buyers this year. Not
Are we?
Obviously.
Obviously.
That's what he said.
And
it's his money.
Anybody who's
Did he
listening-
see a blue shirt with buyer printed on it, or
an obvious shirts?
Buyers.
We are buyers.
We are buyers.
Oh God! If anybody's listening to this on podcast and not seeing, I just rolled my eyes as hard as I could possibly roll my eyes. I think I sprained the left one. I sighed. I am so fucking tired of this. I hate this so much. Look, do I want the Cubs in the playoffs? If they have a chance to win, sure, I do.
Yeah.
But we are 2 games under 500. 2 games under 500. We're buyers? Who the fuck is buying 2 games under 500 in fucking late June? Nobody does that. Oh, unless you got a fucking bullshit league where you can fucking just get in to the fucking. This is stupid, and I fucking hate everything about this.
Well,
Look,
the question
I
is,
get it. Ricketts thinks, oh, we have a chance to win this division. Sure, great, good fucking job. We can win the division, then we can go and get our asses fucking bounced in 2 games.
By
2,
who?
not 3.
By
2
who?
games
Who
at
in the-
Wrigley Field
who?
in October.
Who?
Fuck you, Ricketts.
Who in the National League is definitely going to bounce us? Who?
Everyone.
No,
Literally everyone.
no. What do you mean, everyone? Like, I don't think so.
Yeah,
Because in the National
We're
League,
in the worst fucking division
Doesn't
of
matter.
the worst fucking league.
doesn't matter. The NL has a lot of the Braves are the only team that is really winning a lot of games. Like, I mean, you've had the freaking Diamondbacks who nobody expected in first
Danny,
place.
we have no shot
have
at getting in to a wild card,
The
right?
Mets stink.
The only chance we have is to get the division. We win the division, then we have to play one of those wild card teams. And guess what? The Cubs are worse against bad teams. We would be better off if we could come in as the worst wild card and then play the best team. But that's not how it's going to work. We're fucking like 10 games out of the wild card, and we're like 2 games out of the fucking division. It's stupid. This is a bad fucking team.
They're not.
They're a bad team. They're a bad fucking. They're 2 games under 500 in late June. They're not a good team.
So are the Mets.
In the history of the fucking Cubs, outside of 2023, this is a bad fucking team that we don't even think about trying to go for it.
Literally, what can we buy
To make the team, but that's my next
to make
question.
the team better? Like, we don't have a bullpen.
You need so we could buy.
You
a
need
bullpen.
an entire bullpen.
Well, that's
Is
the
one of
whole
those
thing.
on the market?
Well, you need a left hand. You need a left-handed out of the pen because I just saw today that Brandon Hughes is having surgery, so he's done. So that's not an
Brandon Hughes-
option.
Hoyer's arm exploded.
Hoyer's arm,
Mhm.
yeah.
Brendan
Cody Hoyer.
Davis is. I don't know what the fuck is going on. with Brendan Davis.
Well, he
He's
doesn't
dead.
pitch, but yeah, but as
And if
far as
we're
like,
buying, what are we buying these players with?
well, I
Yeah.
mean, money, you could do it a couple different ways. If somebody's looking for the salary dump, then you could do buy it and not give them much for it.
Hold on, Danny. Speaking of buying and spending money, read the quote that you threw in the fucking rundown here. Read that quote about what Ricketts said about Jed Hoyer.
All right, hold on.
Okay, I'll fucking read it.
Yeah, you read it because I can't get. Oh yeah, no. All right, I got it here. I think you mean the Jed part, right?
Yeah.
I think Jed had a really good offseason. We came into this year thinking we'd be contending for our division. All the credit to manager David Ross and the players for coming together. Dude,
Are you
they've been
fucking
winning.
kidding me?
Look at their June. It's been great. They had a 500 April. They had a crappy May when Bellinger
They
was
did
hurt.
not have a good fucking offseason. That's not a good offseason. Just because you're in the worst fucking
They got
division
Dansby
that's ever
Swanson.
not
they got
quite the worst it's ever
They
been.
got Dansby Swanson. They
It doesn't matter. They did not have a good offseason. The offseason's bad. They're 2 games under 500. That's not a good offseason. And
you're gonna break your
credit
mic.
to David Ross. Great. Good job, David Ross. Way to be 3rd fucking place in 2 games under 500 to the fucking Reds. The
Yeah, but you know
Reds
what
are
this is?
leading this division.
You know what this is? This is the Cubs front office jangling their keys, going, come on, we're going to be playoff contenders again. We're going to the
I totally thought
playoffs.
that was them jerking off.
Yeah. Well, and now I'm one that says that I don't really believe. I don't believe that getting the last wild card spot is really going to help you all that much. But
the Cubs don't have a chance at that. They have to win the division.
And it doesn't
And
matter
what does
anymore.
that say, by the way? How bad is our division that The division itself
The
would
whole
not make a
and
wild card.
the whole National League has quite a bit of parity in it. Like, you know, you've got, as far as like first to worst, like nobody's really, I mean, there's some teams that are obviously out of it at this point, when it comes to just like if you were going to seed records, because like the wild card right now is actually the NL West again. You got Miami as the number one team out of the East, but the other two teams would be the Dodgers and San Francisco. But right behind it, like within, let's say, 10 games, you have 6 more teams. So the only teams that are right now really kind of more than 10 games out where you're not going to be able to make a run are St. Louis, Washington, and Colorado. And that's it. Like Pittsburgh could still take it. Like you have some parity in the National League, which to me is kind of what I've been asking for, because it makes for competitive baseball where you don't have this massive haves, massive have-nots. You still have some of that, but we need to like bring it back to a place where there's some parity, which means that the Cubs with a number, like if you have 3 pitchers that are freaking nails, which they have the best starting staff right now in the major league, in the National League at the very least. And isn't that what you need going into the playoffs?
Well,
A great starting staff. That's what we have right now.
The only argument you might be able to make at all is that Jed put together a tournament team, right? Jed put together a tournament team.
Exactly.
It is
Travel
possible that it's a tournament team and it's not an everyday play team, because those are 2 different fucking things. And that's why expanding the playoffs so that every jerk off can get into the fucking playoffs is bad, because it no longer rewards teams that are actually good all year long. No, you just have to fucking stay close enough to the first place team in your division. And apparently that can get your owner to say you did a good job, even though you're 2 games under 500 late in fucking June. That's terrible. And I don't give a fuck. It's never going to change. I'm not going to ever consider a team that is under fucking 500 a good team. It's not the fucking case.
Sorry, I have to agree with Cotton on this. And I recall, you can review the tape. I was saying the same shit at the beginning of this season, that with the expansion of the playoffs, it immediately made a rush to the middle where there's no incentive to improve the team beyond 500. And Ricketts being who he is, and Jed being who he is, and all this stuff, they are going to be the first ones to be like, okay, we're going to do as little as possible to be able to say we made it into the playoffs this year.
Well, and they've been
every
doing that
year until forever.
They call it the postseason now. Like, they don't even call it playoffs, and it's just
right, because I fucking
season.
bitched loud enough that they're like, yeah, that dude on that fucking show that we try not to listen to, but they're right about everything. He knows what he's talking about.
This is a good point from Marty. It is overall collusion that I think we're also talking about.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But you got to remember parity. Don't you, IFG? Do you think that teams should be more evenly matched?
Absolutely not. I think people who spend for good players should be better than teams that don't.
So, but shouldn't there be like an across the board sort of like, I get thinking when I'm talking about like more of a spending like floor, like you have to spend at least, like if you force the Pirates, like, I don't really care, you got to spend $100 million because it's making that much. So you got to spend it no matter what. And then every team had to be between like 100 million and something else.
You lose me there. You lose me there. Once you cap
that's what I'm asking.
You lose me. Bare minimum, absolutely. I think the Pirates should have to spend, for example, I think the Pirates should have to spend more in salary than they make in revenue sharing. I don't think that the ownership should get free money for not spending money on baseball players. I think that's bullshit. I think that the Chicago Cubs should be forced by, like, I think that baseball should be incentivized to improve their team continually forever. I don't think there's any point where we say, no, that's enough being good. You can just go ahead and make free money from now on.
You need a punishment for the teams that aren't good. And I think that would be the stick. There's no stick in this, you know.
Yeah,
relegation.
and that gets into the monopoly exemption bullshit that MLB has and all that stuff. Which is fucking it's annoying. It's too big for, I mean, yeah, that just needs to go away. We were actually talking about this on the Ranters Discord. If you're actually a Patreon person, you can get in there, and I literally have conversations. Like, I know you love me, you tune into this show just to get 2 hours of me once a week, and you're sad when I don't show up. I get it. But if you really want it, you can spend $1 a month, and I'm on the fucking Discord all day long, and it's usually me and Mike Waller just fucking going back and forth, talking about this stuff and having great conversations. I honestly love talking to Mike Waller because he and I go back and forth with, honestly, me and Mike Waller would run this team championship.
Mike Waller from the Cubs PS Plus podcast, by the way. We should plug
Great dude.
that. And yeah, the question is, like, what would we buy if we were buyers? I think the bullpen is the obvious thing, but you know, seeing how Mervis did when he was up, and the fact that you really just can't just keep playing a guy that's hitting 140, you know, but Mancini is terrible. Bellinger, I don't know, you know, what's going to happen there, but you've got some options over there. I guess they're trying Morel, like that would be weird, but maybe you do. If there is, like, I don't know what first baseman would be available. I kind of did a quick cursory look in every team, like Freddie Freeman. Like, guess what? The Dodgers are not giving up Freddie Freeman. Like, there is no, like, any guy you would really want, you're not going to get because they're already such an integral part of the team. Anthony Rizzo, you know, they did sign him for 3 years. I don't see that happening, but like, he is up there as far as a caliber of somebody that would be an improvement, possibly, definitely defensively, over what you currently have. But I don't know. That would be another thing on the wish list.
Here's the thing. Not everybody. There's a few people out there, and they're saying, hey, sign Bellinger, right? Extend Bellinger. We've got him for 1 year. It's $17 million, and they signed him as a center fielder. Well, as a center fielder, it doesn't make sense to sign Bellinger because we have a load of outfielders, right? Mm-hmm. That's where we could put people. But guess what we need? We need a first baseman. Now, they hoped that Matt Mervis was going to be that guy. I hope that. We all hope that. And maybe he still will. But we don't have a first baseman right now. And honestly, if you want to extend Cody Bellinger, Dan Vogelbach, God damn it.
David Lee, Daniel Vogelbach returns.
But no, but if you want to extend Bellinger, you extend him as a first baseman, and you've got my vote. That makes total sense. As a center fielder, that doesn't make sense because you have guys in the minors that you have been fucking waiting on and making us wait on forever. So if you're not going to get them up there.
But the question really is, though, about the trading, like what you can do now, because Bellinger is supposed to be a guy that you're supposed to trade.
You know what you can do now? You can extend fucking Bellinger.
But that doesn't help you this year. That's we already have him. Like, my question is,
do all this stuff that's going to make the team better.
My question is IFG's question. What do you buy? You know, like I said, first base, bullpen. Like, do you need another starter? I don't know. Like, it's kind of going fine, but I mean,
I honestly think you do need another starter because our number
We've
one,
got like 2.5 starters. Honestly, like I don't trust Kyle Hendricks as far as I can throw him right now,
or as far as he could throw himself.
That's honestly the thing. Like, I love Stroman. I love, except for the fact that I can never remember his name. I love Kyle Hendricks. I love Justin Steele, but none of those guys make me feel like they are just a full on straight up number one ace dominant pitcher. You know what I mean? So could you win with those 3 being your 3 to get you through the playoffs? There's a very real possibility. If you
without
have
a nails bullpen, and let me remind you,
Right.
we don't have one of those.
You need a nails bullpen because especially with Steele, he's only going to go 5, right?
Yep.
Steele's only a 5 guy.
6.
Stroman and Hendricks could each get you 7, 8, even complete games in the playoffs, except for the fact that Ross will never let that happen. Ross and Hoyer will never let that happen. So you have to have the bullpen, right?
Right.
So yeah,
And,
you don't have the bullpen.
To show like where we're at right now. This is another thing that I pulled off Twitter. This is a list of the teams ranked in the percentage of team wins that are credited to the starting pitching.
80?
The Chicago Cubs
Wow.
are sitting at 83% of our team wins are credited to the starting pitcher.
Yeah, we're awesome. See?
Now, to be fair, the Cubs don't have a winning record. So they don't have as big a like where's Tampa Bay on this list? They don't have as big a
63%.
Yeah.
Of their team wins are credited to their bullpen. Or 63% of their team wins are credited to the starting pitchers, and then the rest is to the bullpen.
I'm just saying it's a lot harder to hit 63 of whatever they're at 50 some games than it is to hit
more games. Yeah.
83 of 37.
So, well,
what that tells me, and maybe I'm off on this, but what that tells me is that if we are relying on the bullpen to win baseball games, we're not doing that.
Yeah, no, and I absolutely agree with what you were trying to say with that stat. With like the starting pitching is not the problem; they're good.
Right.
They are actually pretty good. So I do agree. I was just I'm in a shitty mood about this whole fucking.
No, I am too. I think it's nonsense. We're being jerked back and forth. We're being like, here's a half-ass off season, and halfway through the season, we're like, oh no, we're good. I promise. Pinky promise. Really, we're good. And then we're not gonna be good. And then we don't buy the players in the off season, and then we don't buy good players in the middle of the season, and then it's always like bottom barrel. How cheap can we go? Nonsense.
I mean, they're spending 175 million right now. Now,
and
granted,
what are they getting for it?
Exactly. You'd think that.
Well, 25 of that is
Hayward.
26 is Hayward.
Yeah, but still 150 million. That still puts you at least in the middle of the pack. And
guess where they're at?
In the middle of the pack. Yeah. But guess where the Mets are spending 100 million more? They're right where we are. So
yeah, but they have a billionaire that's just like throwing singles at the strip club. Like they don't care where they're putting their money because
and their billionaire isn't fucking claiming that their general manager is actually good.
Yeah.
Ours is.
He's probably
Ours
yelling.
is like he spent half the money of other teams, and guess what? We're half as good as the best teams, and he's awesome. I really like him.
Well, they have to support each other. See, Michael, you got to be more supportive of the team you love.
I'm supportive of the team.
I think we spend enough.
And ownership sucks balls.
I'm just giving y'all shit. So the Phillies and Cleveland are coming in to Chicago now, and they got tomorrow off, Monday's off, and they're giving away NASCAR because there's a big race here in Chicago over 4th of July.
I heard about that. Hold on. There's a fucking NASCAR race in downtown Chicago.
I know. It's
on
so
the
messy.
Streets?
Yeah, on the streets. So that should be fun.
Because they were talking about how they had to make the streets better. And I'm like, fucking, can you imagine? Like, they're not going to get to 200. They're going to be going like 120 mile per hour or something in those streets. And they hit a fucking pothole.
Yeah. If I had a car, I would call it Mrs. O'Leary's cow and just ride that thing around, just waiting to freaking set
It'd be shooting flames out the back of it.
Vroom! So they're also giving away a Rookie of the Year bobblehead. And that's that Thomas Ian Nicholas guy. And he'll be singing the stretch and stuff like that. His band's going to play.
Hold on. The last bobblehead they gave away was Shit Bambi and JD. right?
Well,
And
that
I have
was.
one of those, and somebody's going to get one because I do not want that fucking
Oh, you
thing.
should have left it with me. That would have been a great prize.
I probably should have.
Uh,
Well, it's still going to be a prize for somebody.
It's a white elephant gift now.
And now they're doing Rowan Gardner. Are you fucking kidding me?
Well,
They don't have.
They're not.
They
They're not.
did a great job in the offseason, but
gotta
we don't
pay.
have enough good players to do bobbleheads. For.
No, this isn't a free one. You gotta. I mean, it's free. It's quote unquote free. You have to buy
You got to buy a ticket to the movie.
You got to buy a special ticket to this bobblehead. It's like they're doing that more and more and more, where they can, kind of basically fold the cost of the bobblehead into your ticket. And so all the Pride stuff was like that. They don't give it to everybody. In fact, the Cubs don't have a door giveaway until the end of July, I think, where they're giving away a Hawaiian shirt. So they're just like, we don't care. You're getting
a lot of teams are doing that now. The Mariners do that too. And honestly, I'm not too mad about it. Like here at T-Mobile Park, any single game you can get center field bleacher tickets for $10. So like if they have a really cool giveaway, I will pay $20 more to make sure that I get the giveaway that I want, no matter what time I get there, rather than having to show up at like 2:00 in the afternoon to kick some old lady in the face to get a bobblehead.
But that's different than Wrigley.
Yeah, 10,000. Yeah, at Wrigley, it's for the most part like that. I don't think that JD one was that popular. Like you probably didn't have to stand in like at 9 in the morning to get
Do you
that
know
one.
how unpopular it was?
That you walked in an hour later and still got one?
No, after the game, I saw 2 boxes sitting under a seat, and I walked over and picked one up, and some other dude came over and picked the other one up.
That's
and we were like, I guess
that's how unpopular that was. Yeah, you want this? Nah, not really. Yes.
I wasn't even gonna fight him for both of them. I'm like, no, you can have that one. I'm fucking take this one just because.
Yeah, I mean, but some of them you really have to like fight for, like the the Billy Watson #1 sweet swinging Billy Watson. Oh, sorry, Williams.
Billy Fukudome.
Yeah, Billy Fukudome, #1 in your hearts. The greatest right-handed power hitter of all time in a Cubs uniform. So anyway, they're giving away those things, but the Phillies are coming in and they just beat the Mets 2-3. And they're in third place too, but they're 10 games back of the Braves, where the Cubs are only like 3 back. We got to face Ranger Suarez, Aaron Nola, and Taijuan Walker. So not too shabby for them.
That's actually 3 games that are going to be tough right there.
Yeah, Cubs lost 2 or 3, and they're not having the greatest year though. I mean, it's why they're in third place. Cubs lost 2 or 3 in Philly in May. They won and lost a blowout, and then they lost 2-1 on a Sunday.
Oh, surprise.
Yeah. So,
how is Chinese Taipei Walker doing lately?
All of them, he's like the best of the 3, I think, as far as ERA goes. Not everybody was in the 4s that I saw, and I'm like, that must be why they're in third place. So they're just not doing that as well as they had hoped after winning or not going to the World Series.
Here's the thing. That was the team that also wasn't doing well last year. They were able to make a move, put some things together at the end, and make it in on the final wild card spot, and then make it to the World Series. And that's what everybody's playing for. Everybody wants to be the Phillies. They tell you they want to be Tampa Bay. They don't. They want to be the Phillies.
Hey, I wouldn't mind being the Phillies. You know what I mean? Like, if you could be the Phillies and you can get in there like the Phillies did and start getting real hot, and then at the end of the year, just like ride some momentum into the freaking glory land, I am freaking all for it. Like
that would be great. I agree. But it's frustrating in the whole context of the sport. But yes, for the Cubs to be able to do that would be great. But the Phillies, I heard, because we were playing the Cardinals this weekend, might be in on a Goldschmidt trade. Like they are like, there's now rumors of Phillies getting Goldschmidt and working on that, which honestly, that would be a huge improvement for the Phillies just defensively, because they're not a good defensive team at all. And Goldschmidt's still having a good year. None of those Cardinals really did anything this week.
Well, we're going to hear all the rumors now about every single player, ever, because it's rumor season pretty much is going to get hot and heavy, like starting, I'd say next week.
Oh
But
yeah,
little All-Star break. After All-Star break for sure, but like it's already starting. I hate trade season, or I really hate because it's so much speculation.
especially when it's the Cubs is your team, because it's like, oh, all your favorite players, they're on the trading block, and we're just gonna jerk you around for the next 2 months, and then we're gonna fucking not do anything.
Yeah, well, that's what
You
happened.
know what I hate about this particular trade season? There's nobody left that I particularly care about. Like, I'm like, yeah, fine, sell whoever you want. What the hell are you getting back? Like, what is
Just a
like?
churn.
It doesn't matter. It's just a churn of crap right now. It's kick out some bullshit, get some more bullshit in. Like, I don't even care.
Yeah, unless you're going for like Otani, or
But
you're
we're
gonna,
not like,
or you're gonna pick up one of these guys that, like, say the Padres are now having buyer's remorse and they want to get rid of $300 million off of their payroll. Then maybe some of those guys, like, okay, I'm gonna kind of get excited about. But
yeah.
the Cubs are not going to be in on those guys at all.
The Cubs are not going to trade the farm away for Otani just for Otani to turn around and sign with somebody else in the offseason, because he's definitely not signing with the Cubs long term.
Nope.
Like,
I don't think
the
so
Cubs are not set up to give Otani a World Series in the next few years. He's going to somebody else.
Yeah.
The dude has
who is though?
I mean, I could see I don't want to see it, but like the big rumor out there is the Dodgers. I think that's the most boring possible option, and I hope that doesn't happen. I could see the Giants trying for it. He would immediately put the Mariners in a great position. I would, like, in my dream world, the Mariners sign Otani and then trade for Seiya somehow, because that would just set the Mariners up really, really well. And it would make everybody so happy. They would be friends, and it would be delightful, and there would be unicorns and rainbows. I would get to watch it all from 10 feet away. It would be great.
And Ichiro would come back just for the fucking playoffs.
Ichiro's in the dugout every game. It's delightful. I love the Mariners. They have so much fun. It's so fun. I remember when the Cubs were fun.
Yeah,
you know what? I remember when the Cubs were fun too. And yeah, we were talking about that when I went to the game last week. Danny, great show, by the way. My family went. They all enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. But we were sitting there during that game. Well, actually on the drive up, because we listened to all your old songs, Danny. I have a thumb drive that I bought in 2016. And it's like all your old like parody songs that you did with different things. And we were just like listening to those and enjoying them and reminiscing about Starlin Castro, and Javi Baez and all these, the different things. I just remember like how fun Starlin was. Like Starlin did the shadow throw, right? With Chris Bryant. And then we were talking about how Javi stood like 2 inches away from Rizzo as he caught a ball over in right field, and like all the different goofy little stuff. Jorge Soler with the cup,
they used to have a little bit more fun.
They used to have a lot of fun, and this team no more.
You could point a camera at the dugout and do picture in picture an entire game and just watch the guys have fun in the dugout, and I just don't see that here.
The funny thing,
but it just makes me think of that, Danny, like how much fun they were, and listening to your songs reminded me like, oh yeah, there was a lot of fun on this team back.
I haven't written songs because I'm not really all that inspired, and maybe it's because I just wrote a lot before, and it's just like, okay.
You wrote a song about the 69 Cubs, about Garvey's hairy arms.
Yeah.
These are great songs, but they are not. You're actually thinking big picture. You're like, I did this once,
Yeah.
And it all went badly because the fucking Ricketts got rid of everybody.
Well, here's the funny thing: is you say the Mariners are so much fun. They have the exact same record as the Cubs. They have the
But
exact.
you know what? They're so much more fun to watch because they have fun. Somebody hits a home run, they got a big trident, and they're like, "Yay! Every day we hit a home run. It's delightful, and people are happy."
Okay.
And like,
But here's the thing, like.
I would rather be a 500 team that is having fun, where there is team chemistry, where like we're looking forward to watching them succeed, than a 500 team that's going, literally, what can we do to make our ownership invest in this bullshit?
See, and I feel like the Mariners had a pretty good year last year.
They really did.
They did a couple of things to try and improve the team in the offseason, like actual things. You know, and they don't have the Ricketts money, and they don't have the Chicago fucking mystique, everything that Chicago has. And yet they did try to improve the team. And so it's like you can get behind that a little bit more than a 2 games under 500 and Ricketts is blowing Jed over in England, you know, and just like, you know, like, oh, we're buyers because we're, you know, you're not buyers until you actually fucking do it and you actually get a trade done.
Well, I'm just interested to see, like, is it a churn? Is it, are there, you know, because sellers would be the Stroh go. Stroh would go, Belly would go, anybody with expiring contracts. See, listen, but you know, it's if they are buyers, that means they're going to add and try to keep Stroh. Like you know, maybe buying is part of like locking these dudes up long term. And you know, another team that's coming into town this weekend is Cleveland. And they're a team that they went to the playoffs with like a $30 million payroll last year.
Aren't they in first place now?
No, they're in second, I want to say, behind Minnesota.
Oh,
so
Minnesota's
in a bad division.
At 500.
Yeah, similar. They're having not as good of a year as they had last year, where they had Quan, where they're like basically never missing a ball with his bat ever.
Yeah.
You know, situations like that, they're not having that kind of magic right now, maybe. But like this is a team that did it with no payroll at all. And then they made the playoffs last year. They lost, but you know, the weak division, get it. I mean, that could be the Cubs' path or the Phillies' path, where you got the travel ball boys and get in there. So I'm curious because the Phillies are that team and they're coming in. We'll see how we do against them.
Yeah. Facebook user with what we were talking about, you know, being which team is fun to watch and whether the Cubs are fun or not. It says Cubs looked more excited to be in London than the Cardinals. They
were sick.
It was definitely the Cubs looked like they were having more fun. It was weird. That was one of the parts that was enjoyable about that London series. The Cubs some of those players did actually look like they were enjoying the whole situation. But yeah, the Cardinals got sick. And I will say, I got COVID when I went to London in March.
So, dirty. So
the question didn't look like he was having too much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Wilson Couture's not having fun. Man, he wears it on his sleeve, but he destroyed that cooler.
Look at it. It's devastated.
Oh man. It's just, you know, you got to blame some of what's going on him. I mean, you know, I know that the pitching is old. It hasn't been there, but like, you know, I mean, did Yachty do crap like this? I mean, no, he was a crybaby and stuff all the time, but did he just destroy things in the dugout? You know,
how would we know? They would never post a bad thing about Yachty. If
he destroyed things in the dugout, though. Like, I mean, that's a lack of self-control. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think we talked about this like a month or two ago, like when we saw the Cardinals the first time. I feel like Wilson is struggling over there a little bit, and I think that's the fucking Cardinal way. I think they like that sort of shit. And whereas I think he was more reined in when he was with the Cubs, and now he's not. And maybe he's a little bit shittier than He was.
I think with the Cubs, I think, Wilson is a guy who feels his feelings really big. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I've loved a lot of players who have really big feelings. We all remember Carlos Zambrano with the Gatorade machine. And to be honest, that was a stupid Gatorade machine anyway, and it deserved to die.
I know it used to talk shit on Twitter all the time. Fuck that Gatorade machine.
Fuck that Gatorade machine. And, but like Wilson, when he was on the Cubs, like he kind of had his safe people. Like he could hang around Joe Madden when he was in a shitty mood and sort of hide behind him, and Joe would calm him down, and he had Javi there to sort of interact with. And it's like, who's his safe guy on the Cardinals? I don't think he has anybody over there that's like his glue guy.
Nolan Arenado.
Yeah.
Nolan Arenado is one of the biggest dicks I have ever seen on a fucking baseball field.
Speaking of crybabies, yeah,
he is such a piece of shit. He's a great ball player. Like, yeah, he can fucking pick it with the best of them, and he hits well and whatever, but he's a dick. And it was on display in London. Like, so if that's the guy, that's what I'm saying. Like, if that's the guy that Wilson has to confide in, like, yeah, Wilson might be a little bit wilder than he would.
Well,
be with the
it was
Cubs.
fun to see the Cardinals sucking, and I'm hoping that these mediocre they've been playing mediocre so far, the Cleveland Guardians and the Phillies, and that's what we got next. And I think that we could be in first place by the All-Star break. Michael Cotton doesn't seem to be a fan of his own team though, so I don't know what.
No, I'm a fan of my team. I am absolutely not a fan of my front office and ownership, because they want us to believe that a team that does not have a winning record is a good team. That is by definition not a good team. A good team has.
I just can't get this. I just can't get behind design mediocrity.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, we're not good because they have chosen not to be good.
Yeah. Apple does their little thing with their fucking phones where it's supposed to like die after a certain number of years.
Planned obsolescence.
They get fucking sued for this shit. Where's the lawsuit against the Cubs for just, making our team die after a couple of years?
The Cubs are using planned obsolescence like tech companies.
Mm-hmm.
They are. I mean, I could rant on this forever.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we will. We have plenty of time to rant this season. It's only June. So we should take another quick commercial break and come back, because we have a new segment called Weird Baseball.
We're going to come back with some fun stuff.
Yeah, fun stuff. And also we got some Cubs poetry contest entries that we're going to go through. We're going to announce the winner of that next week. So just at me or at Michael, and we'll bring your poem on the show. The best way to do it is there is a specific page on the Patreon Discord where you can post your poem right there. That's where we'll see it the best. But you have to be a Patreon member to do that. So in the meantime, why don't I just play a quick commercial break? Everybody write a poem.
Hold on. This is a long show.
Are you new
We're
here?
Not even 2 hours in.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about? We're almost done. We just said we're at the second commercial.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got about another half hour before it's a long show. Yeah. So anyway, we will be right back. We'll be right back. I promise.
Stuff. Hey, Cubs fans, at Amazon.com do you buy lots of stuff? Why not support the Son Ranto Show by shopping through sonranto.com/stuff? All you gotta do is fill your cart at Amazon with lots of stuff. Then before you check out with all of that wonderful stuff, head on over to sonranto.com/stuff and click any of our Amazon links before you buy your stuff. Check out like you normally would with all that beautiful stuff. And the Son Ranto Show will get a small kickback because of the stuff you bought and you'll be helping the Son Ranto show buy all the we need to stay on the air, talking about the Cubs and other. Plus, you could win a monthly prize if some of your is chosen for Amazon of the month. And if you win, we'll send you more. Sunranto.com/. That address again is sunranto.com/stuff.
Do you ever find yourself longing for long walks and talks about Ketchermetrics? How about a coffee over run differential? Maybe a candlelit dinner dissecting what exactly is the curious case of Miles Mastrobuoni? If you have, I have just the place for you, the Cubs PS Plus podcast. Come join us. Cubs PS Plus, a Northside numbers game, can be found wherever it is you get your podcasts, and on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Cubs PS Plus, a spin on the baseball metric OPS Plus. Are you ready? I'm ready. Here we go.
I should mention that we will be picking the Amazon prize of the month next week. So if you shop through Amazon at our through our links at sunranto.com/stuff, you are eligible to win this cute little thermos.
Him.
Isn't he adorable?
So cute. You need to give him another little line so he looks like Christopher Morel with his little
Totally. So
that
so
would be good. Yeah.
all you got to do is just click if you shop at Amazon, sunranto.com/stuff, click our links, buy the stuff you buy anyway, and you can win that.
Artie asks, Friday is the last day for poems. Yes, the last day of June is the last day for poems.
I mean, I guess you have till our next show, which will probably be next Sunday. So,
oh well, yeah,
might as well get them all the way till Sunday. Yeah,
and to be fair to Facebook user, that this is a long show.
It is a little long.
Maybe it's, you know what. You know, we're gonna have the competition committee look at this show in the off season, and then they're going to determine whether or not it's possible we need bigger bases. We might need a pitch clock. I don't know. Probably not a pitch clock, but
need a
bigger
pitch clock.
bases I could see. Maybe a strike zone.
Maybe another segment like Crazy Baseball.
Crazy baseball, crazy baseball.
Oh my God. Don't do that again.
Isn't that a great ending? So IFG, you wanted to talk a little bit about this massive blowout in Colorado.
My gosh. How crazy is it? Like, you guys watched the game, right? I tuned in sometime around the third inning and it was starting to get wild. And then it ended up at 25-1.
Wow.
Which somehow, as far as I can tell, did not set a single record.
Wait, what? How does a 25-1 game not set? So what you're saying is that in 150 years, we've done this before.
Yeah.
This included a 13 spot in the third inning, which is tied for the 10th most runs ever scored in an MLB inning. Record stands at 17, which was the 7th inning by the Red Sox versus the Tigers on June 18th of 1953. That's hat tip to Bat Flips and Nerds, our good friends there. It's absolutely crazy. The Cubs actually lead in the most runs scored through the first 4 innings of a baseball game. The Angels' 23 runs through 4 innings are the third most through the first 4 innings of a game in history, behind the 1922 Cubs, who scored 25 runs in the first 4 innings of a game. And
these are my favorite stats when they're like,
and I like going back to the 1894 Pirates, like they were still throwing underhand back then. So I don't know how much we want to count that.
They were still building their own balls out of socks right before the game.
Yeah, and I know it's not the biggest blowout ever because we had that on the show a little bit ago. There was like a 30. It was like the Rangers, I think, beat. Let me see if I can find it. Biggest blowout in MLB.
But it's insane how like, okay, so that's a game in which 23 runs were scored by the 5th inning. And then only 2 more after that.
Yeah. And then they did well.
Yeah, they were just like, it's enough.
Well, yeah, and it was the Rangers over the Orioles 30-3 in 2007. I knew it wasn't that long ago.
30
now
to 3.
this game here was not a shutout, so it doesn't get any shutout records. The largest shutouts in history, and this is pulled directly from the game itself, it was a 28-0 game between the Providence Grays and the Philadelphia Quakers in 1883. Again, they were throwing underhand back then, like you can barely call it baseball. But in the modern era, the closest was 22-0, where Cleveland beat the New York Yankees in 2004.
Okay, here's the question though. How many hits I want to know that, like, Ohtani hit for 2 cycles. Like,
Ohtani went 1 for 7 in this game.
Yeah.
Hey, what?
Yeah.
Ohtani went 1 for 7. This is the most reverse tungsten arm O'Doyle game. This is styrofoam leg O'Doyle game.
Did anybody get like a platinum sombrero or anything? Like 6 strikeouts?
Well, here's a cool thing. There were 2 players that had 5 hits in this game.
Oh, wow. That's like a career game generally. And there was
Mickey
2 of them.
Moniak went 5 for 5 with 3 2-baggers and 4 RBIs and scored 5 times in this game.
That's Danny's favorite player outside of the Cubs.
No, he's awesome. Mickey, I mean, he looks like he's got a bright future ahead of him. I like what Dominic is actually a Facebook user, we found out, but he says that no position players pitched in the game.
Yeah, that's wild to me too. I mean, like, I just like.
Hold on, they're putting position players in when they're winning usually. Like, why are they?
I have no idea. They were like, you know what, you guys have screwed this up. We're just gonna go ahead and let the bullpen wear it.
Okay, wait.
No idea.
That's another thing. In that 13-run inning, how many pitchers did they have in that 13-run inning? Did you look that up?
I did not. I think it was just like 1 or 2 guys, though.
Fucking the worst inning ever. If you're a pitcher out there, it's just like, take me. Yes, that.
He's looking to the dugout like.
So for the podcast users, Danny just posted a picture of Dinger the purple dinosaur.
No, it wasn't me.
Yeah, that was me.
IFG posted Dinger the purple dinosaur sitting back in the bowels of Coors Field with his hand on his head. He's sitting on a cooler. He is so sad, and it is so freaking funny. That's probably the entire 4th inning right there.
Yeah, I'm looking up the box score of this game right now, and for the Rockies, 9 of the runs were given up by Tyler Anderson, and he only lasted 2.2 innings.
Yeah, I mean, there were like back-to-back home runs. There was a 3-run home run after that. Like it all happened really quick.
Yeah, and 28 hits for the Angels. I mean, that's just wild. No errors, and that kind of surprised me too. That is a good weird baseball. Did you do you have any more stuff for weird baseball?
Yeah, just a little silly thing that I have no context for this whatsoever. I don't know if this was a college game. I don't know if it's high school, but this is just kind of fun. So let's watch this kid's at bat here.
So to describe this to the podcast listeners, a kid, this looks like a college game or something.
It's gotta be.
He hits the ball and it and it's a foul. He fouls it straight back and then hits what seems to be the stadium, and then bounces back into play and hits him right in the head.
Right on the helmet.
Never seen that before.
It's hilarious.
Well, I'm gonna play the drop again just because it bothers Michael.
Crazy baseball, crazy baseball.
You're gonna have nightmares.
Oh my god, it's nowhere near as bad as our theme song. So
Yeah, I still need.
Still doesn't have my name in it,
I
Daniel.
know. I know. Well, you got to send me your vocals. I'll put it in.
See, this is the problem, Danny. We need to redo the whole thing, not just add shit into it.
Yeah,
Just
there's more people.
I am G.
No, we need a whole new song. I need to hire somebody. I'm sick of writing music. Done with this crap.
The guy whose whole thing is that he writes songs and all this stuff. He's like, I'm gonna hire somebody to write a theme song.
I need to get somebody. All right, let's read some poems.
Do you want me to write and sing a song?
Sure, that'd be great. It'll probably sound like the crazy baseball drop, but that's okay.
Yeah, might be worse.
So let's read some poems here. I wanted to start with this one. It was sent in right before the show, and it's a longtime listener and friend of the pod, Chris Salato, and he writes, the Chicago Cubs can eat my butt. Their crappy play has my fandom in a rut. Trey Mancini cannot play first, trying to kill pitchers whilst knocking them to the dirt, dropping throws and fumbling tosses. You can blame him for at least 36 losses. A little typo there. Nico makes me horny with Swanson's dongs, while Morel goes long. Stroman and Steele have what it takes to right the wrongs, but Wisniewski's less nasty than we've wanted all along. Another year in a division of mid, just down another drink and cheer for the kids. As long as the Cardinals continue to suck, we can rejoice to feel alive until the Cubs win again in 2045. And with that, we will continue to cheer for the underdog while I bid thee a hearty spugog. Snap, snap, snap. Very nice. I like that one. It had a lot of chutzpah.
A lot of fun with that one. He just submitted that one there.
Yeah,
I hadn't seen that one yet.
Yeah, no, he Twitter DM'd me this poem.
Oh,
right before we went live. All right. Does somebody want to read this one?
I can read.
Okay, here we go. This is Seth's.
Ooh, perfect. A limerick. I love limericks. So Seth Kennedy says, there once was a boomer named Bill. Grandpa Lossie he wanted to kill. That lame balding oaf just settled for meatloaf. Now Bill's DVR's in the landfill.
I love the self-referential inner podcast sort of you get extra brownie points for that for talking about other ranters. All right, Michael, why don't you read Artie's poem?
All right. Wheelbarrows of cash, they said. Astray to us they led. Not sure what the plan is now. Holy fracking cow.
I like the short ones. Sandra Marchetti's got a few like that. Here's I'll do a second one from Artie here.
Artie's been putting out a bunch of them.
Yeah, this one's very London specific. It says, London calling, Cubbies balling over the pond. Let's put the Cardinals in the great beyond. Very nice. Dark.
That's a good one. I like how the end just kind of goes off.
Yeah, really.
Kind of trails away.
Our
hopes and dreams.
Why don't you do Ari's IFG?
Gotcha. To be a Cub fan, you must be a sucker. We get Fulmer and Tucker and Rucker. We shell out for beer and bleacher tickets, lining the pockets of Joe and Tom Ricketts. Next doesn't start here, you motherfucker. That's like iambic pentameter. I appreciate that one.
I think it started as a limerick and then got lost in the third line because it didn't have the ba ba da ba ba. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the third and fourth lines were a little long for a limerick, you know. So anyhow, my favorite of those, I do like Salados just for the passion that I felt from it. But Artie, you know, like concise, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say that my favorite was, I don't even think was in that list.
Yeah, I don't know if I got all the screenshots that I need to get.
No, there are a few more on the there are a few more on the Discord page that I really like. There was one, God damn it, I think it was David Elliott that just wrote a bunch of shit, and then at the end he's like something about the only thing that's worse than the Cubs is a poem that does, or the only thing that's worse than a poem that doesn't rhyme is the Cubs right now. Like, I thought that was excellent. Like, because I didn't know where he was going. I'm like, man, this thing kind of sucks. And then the last line, I was like, oh, I get it.
Free verse pose.
Well, we'll bring it on the next show because we're gonna hope to have Sandra Marchetti on. Maybe she'll read a few more poems from her book too. And next week we will pick the winner. So you still have time to write your poems and submit and win and become what is it? The Ranter Laureate, and you win this book. Aisle 228. Well, Michael's already the laureate, but
Well, no. So here's the thing. This is how that came about. So I am the unofficial Cubs poet laureate. I christened myself that because it's unofficial. Why not? And then, you know, I got to talking to Sandy. We were talking about poems and the Cubs and stuff, and then we got to this point about me being the poet laureate, and I'm like, no, you can be the poet laureate too. This is not a competition, it's a club. So Sandy and I are the Cubs poet laureates, and whoever wins this contest will be the third in that group.
So we have three laureates.
Yeah, well, it's a
Laureates
club, not a competition.
Gotcha.
We can all do it, and we want to see who.
Well, it is a competition. Only one person's getting in of all these people. So,
well, that's true. It's a competition to them, but once you're in, then it's like, you know, we've got a little club inside of a club inside of a club.
Now you guys vote on the next people that come in the club.
Yeah, you get to vote. There you go.
So, I wanted to wish I've been forgetting the happy birthdays, I realized. So I did want to wish happy birthday to John Vasky and also Laura Stapleton. Congratulations on making another year around the sun there. The South Bend Cubs game is July the 8th. The Bleacher Bum Band is playing afterwards, and it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. I just dropped the Facebook link in the chat to it. It's too hard to find. So just be friends with the Bleacher Bum Band on Facebook, and you can find it. We're playing at a place called McCormick's, and man, I just think it's going to be. It's a dive bar, and it's. I don't know. We hung out there the other night, and it was so much fun at McCormick's that I think that it's going to be kind of a specifically fun Bleacher Bum night because we don't usually play at night. And like the last time we played for opening or for the CD release party, I was like, man, I miss playing at night. Like I feel like I want to play at night. It's just a different feeling.
That was like an afternoon matinee.
Yeah, I'm like, it's like a matinee show versus Saturday night. And so we're doing a Saturday night and we haven't done one ever. So it's Bleacher Bum Band at McCormick's July 8th after the game. We're singing the national anthem beforehand. Should be a hell of a good time. And I'm just excited to share. Oh, and you get tickets to it too. It's a FIVO link. I'm going to drop that. You can also find the link to this on the Facebook event. So it's like we have a section of tickets we're all sitting in. It's fivo.me/45VOIZO. So I don't know, but it's a bit easier to click the link. but we're all sitting together in the game. So if you want to come, you can buy as many tickets as you want right now.
Hold on. You know what? This just in from the private chat. IFG just wrote a poem. The 23 bullpen of the Cubs couldn't stop allowing earned runs. They threw slow and wild. The excitement was mild. And we all feel it's just not much fun. So, very, very nice.
Yeah.
While Danny was chatting away, she was able to pop that in there. Very good.
See, so put in your silly poems. We want to read them.
So yeah, no, I love the artistry of our show, and I love random poetry, whether it's good or bad. And I don't know, we're all so talented, none of it's bad. So TFC, I already shared one of mine. I only have one more.
I have one.
And all right, I'll go. This I'd rather be at Wrigley on Twitter said. At the stadium, one of the most expensive sports, EPL, concessions are still cheaper than at Wrigley. That refers to London, that the concessions were cheaper in England than at Wrigley Field. And then he said that the funniest thing that was overheard at the game was in the men's bathroom filled with both teams. Cards fan yells, "At least we can all agree that the White Sox will never be invited."
Oh, that is brutal.
Everybody enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's rough. I don't know. Is there a thing? Is there some sort of a unity between Cubs and Cards fans against the White Sox?
No,
I don't think I've ever felt that or heard that before.
it's just something to say where you're all awkwardly, quietly peeing together to crack everybody up. I think
that's how you break the ice when everybody's standing around with your penises in your hand.
Yeah, it's what you do.
If this is Dominic, DM me or something. I can absolutely make it to the game on the 30th. That sounds like fun. We should say hi.
Well, and shortly after July 8th, you got your tickets to the Dong Show.
I am going to the Dong Show, baby. I'm so excited. The home run derby is my highest holiday of the year, and I've never been to a playoff game. I've never been to anything really like major, but I'm gonna get to go to the home run derby this year. And my thanks to everybody, the ranters, the Twitter people, everybody who helped me get there. I really, really appreciate you guys. I got an awesome seat, like in one of my favorite sections of the ballpark, close, just a few rows behind home plate. I have no idea how that ticket was available, but it was, and I grabbed it. And so I'm going to be able to get like really good pictures. I'm hoping to put a whole lot of content up here on the show after the home run derby. I'm really, really looking forward to it.
So ranters actually have a correspondent in the ballpark for the home run derby. That's awesome. Now we got to get you to the All-Star game.
So
yes,
really
let's do it.
What if
I will absolutely make it.
What if you just hid in there overnight, like
just stay there until
like just go into the bathroom and like stand on the toilet when they come through and pay off the janitor that's in there. Be like, hey, listen, I'll give you $100 if you just shut up. I'm just gonna stay in this bathroom till tomorrow night.
Look, I work downtown anyway. If I can get a ticket into the All-Star game, I will absolutely go both days.
Mission Impossible.
I just need a ticket.
So, did anybody have any more? Yep, there it is.
Yep, I got this. So this came off of the Reddit, Shy Cubs. This guy posts, "I'm just saying, Stroh's season is about tied." Sorry, I thought it said tired for a second. About tied. First time years ago for the best year he's ever pitched, and he will be his age 33 season next year. God, this is annoying to read. Doesn't exactly scream he's going to repeat. In fact, I'd argue he's bound to go down given his history and age. Cash in on him while he's peaking. And some dude responds to this post with loser talk. We heard that this is what
You
people do, and you're just pandering to it.
Did you forget? Are you having a stroke, Michael?
No, I can't read it. It's fucking smaller than I thought it
He
was going
says
to be.
loser talk. You heard that this is what smart people do, and you're just parroting it.
Thank
And
you.
the first guy goes, he needs to go, just like your beloved Darvish.
See, and that's the thing that made me think this was a good TFC, is that the guy doubled down and like
Was
fucking
like,
brought
Darvish
Darvish
was
into
bad,
this. Darvish is a great
actually.
pitcher. Oh,
Man.
God, I fucked that all up.
So easy to fuck up a joke by just reading it wrong.
Oh my God. Well, I didn't generally, I double check these a little bit, and I didn't check this one. I thought I would just be able to read it, but man, I can't read that at all. IFG got great eyes.
Anything else from anybody?
No, that's it.
So,
Yeah,
all right.
We need to get this one
my
off.
dog is sitting right behind me. My cat is putting his hand in my face. They are both like, this is a long show.
Yeah. I agree. I want some ice cream personally. Like, I'm in the mood for some ice cream, and I do want to mention that we did the game hang this morning. We were all on for 3 hours this morning, so I think we'll skip the post show tonight. But please keep abreast of the rest of the week. Maybe we could have a night where we all get together and watch the game. Sometime this week. We'll just be putting that information out on Patreon. It's always kind of random when we have time, but I do want to encourage everybody to put #chance in the chat right now. And but first we actually have to give away the Patreon prize of the month. So I'm going to.
Is this Artie here, Mr. Fourth Row?
Yeah, that's already saying.
Hi, Artie. I probably won't be catching any home run balls. I'll be really close to behind home plate, like where all the bullpen pitchers' moms sit. It's one of my favorite places to sit in the park.
You'll be hoping for foul balls.
Yeah, foul balls maybe. But yeah, it'll be a good place for like pictures and saying hi to people before the game and stuff. I'm only 5 feet tall. I don't have a snowball's chance in hell of catching a ball out in the outfield anyway. So this was a really good opportunity, and I'm glad to take it. And to Dominic, again, DM me. We'll meet up at the game on Friday. I'm really looking forward to that. That sounds like a lot of fun. If you guys are ever in Seattle and you want to catch a game with me, I love to go to games with people. Please let me know, and I will meet you at the ballpark.
Very cool. No, that's one ballpark I really want to get to. I have not
love that place.
Had a chance. It's on my list. I want to go to all of them, but that's the one I haven't been to. All right, well, let's pick a Patreon prize winner of the month. Here we go. I'm spinning it. You guys can see that, right?
Let's
go. There are so
Can
many people on this. I love
117.
it.
117. And the winner is Andrew Round. Who long time Cubs podcaster himself of the Ivy Envy Show, remains a Patreon supporter. So thanks, Andrew. You know what? The winner.
Look, since Andy's name popped up there, Andy was on Ivy Envy for a long time. He's the reason a lot of this, he's one of the reasons a lot of this is happening now. And he actually just released an album on like Bandcamp or something.
It's on Spotify and everything.
It's on Spotify. Yeah, I listened to it. It is very good. I really enjoyed I had it on while I was working. It was good. I like it.
It's pretty instrumental and but it's real vibey and stuff. And he does a really good job with the guitar work and a lot of intertwining melodies and stuff. It's very cool stuff. So yeah, check out his stuff. And congratulations, Andy. And #chance in the chat. This is your last chance to win a chance postcard sent to you by me. And I kind of solidified some of the prizes here. So let me show you what I got in the prize. First of all, it's one of the prizes is this marquee Cubs drawstring bag, and it all comes in here
to carry all your other prizes.
All the other prizes. This is the first prize: a Cubs winter hat.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah. This
is like a toque.
There is a Larry Rothschild autograph, ex-pitching Cub, the pitching coach of the Cubs. We have a Greg Maddux rookie card.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah, that's worth.
It looked like that was a Donruss version.
Harry Carey iron-on patch.
I like it. I like it. They wore that in the
I can
98
put that on
season.
I should get that and put it on my Costa Cape Fukudome jersey.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the 6th prize for the month of June. A Cubs luggage tag. So this is all what's going to be, and I'm going to add another prize next month. And this is all going to be at the end of the year chance bonanza bucket of love prizes. I don't know what to call it. The chance prize.
Whatever you want to call it, don't call it bucket of love.
Bucket of love. Yeah. That was just the first thing that came to my mind. Yeah.
Very gross in my mind.
I've been thinking about chicken. I've been thinking about ice cream and doggies. Hi, little
puppy.
All right.
He's
like, I have to pee. Let me out.
He's like, please pay attention to me instead.
All right, let's pick a winner. Here we go. Who's gonna win the chance? Have a chance to win the bucket of love. It's Joey. Congratulations, Joe.
Hey, Joey.
That's
nice.
Wrigleyville bum. If you're nasty. So, so there is our show. Yeah, it was a long one. That guy was right. You know. I think it was Dominic.
If I'm getting yelled at by half of the animal kingdom, it's probably been a long show.
Animals are yelling, the ranters are yelling, everybody's sick of this crap. So thank you for supporting us, all you Patreon people. And we'll be back next Sunday with another long show. And in the meantime, I'm going to play a short song, Old Style, by the Bleacher Bum Band. Spagog.
Spagog!
Old style, old style, old style, old style. Brewed at the turn of the last century, across Wisconsin, 200 miles from Milwaukee, and it's way old, way old, way old. Drinking my daddy's beer, old style. Every day of the year, old style. Raise up a can and cheers, old style. In 1935 they moved to Chicago after Prohibition, serving beer to Al Capone, and it's way old, way old, way old. Old style. Brewed by G. Heileman, old style. In La Crosse, Wisconsin, old style. Give me another can, old style. And it's way old, way old, way old. Old style. A Chicago handshake, old style. One more than you chase, old style. I hope they always make, old style. Old style always poisons every bottle that they brew. That's why old style is always so flavorful and smooth. And it's way old, way old, way old. Old style. In Chicago you'll find old style. 1 million old style signs, old style. Order it every time, old style. Old style. Old style. Old style.